Welcome to Cohesive Friendship Unit. My name's Chris. I'm here with Brian,
What's up?
Jake,
Hey guys.
and Jeremy.
Yo, what's up?
Capcom announced they are kind of throwing themselves into this renewed plug-and-play thing. Now that we're getting the Genesis Mini, we've already gotten the PlayStation Classic, the NES and Super NES Classic. Capcom is doing an arcade plug-and-play, and we're going to talk all about that. But real quick, we are doing a giveaway. Every 10 subs, we're giving away a Steam code. We have a few Steam codes left. And again, every 10 subs, all you have to do is be subscribed. If you have questions, you can hit up our channel page, or you can comment down below, and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, Capcom Home Arcade. This thing is a beast. It's large, it looks weird, it has some arcade exclusive games that were never really ported to the home console, and it is expensive as all hell, launching October 25th at 229 euros.
Wow.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
What do we think about the Capcom Home Arcade?
I hate the design.
In 16 games. 16 games. All right. Brian hates the design. Go.
Why do I hate the design?
Yeah.
Because, well, like, you made it your fucking company logo. Like, how much more vain can you get? Like, did you ever make an arcade machine that said Capcom on the front and had the like, controller base shaped like your logo? Like,
It's a little extra.
Well, and the fact that the
wicked
buttons
extra.
are the same color as, like, the logo. It's like, make the buttons a different color. That's how it's supposed to be. Don't pay for this fucking expensive-ass printing on the buttons. Like, you know that's not cheap.
Oh, I imagine cutting it is expensive too.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, do you really want to pay that kind of markup for, like... And the thing is, you can get something that's roughly equivalent to this, that has the buttons and the joystick, and it's like a big thing. Like, there's other stuff out on the market. Like, why would you buy this? Because you're that much of a fanboy for Capcom? I mean, I don't see it. I didn't grow up with arcade machines, so I don't really have any nostalgia at all for this. But, like, I'm glad they didn't try to do something virtual.
I mean,
You know?
besides the fact that like you said, you cannot see the buttons at all, and it's all just a logo. It's a controller and a console combined, which is
Self-indulgent.
kind of a terrible idea because how are you gonna play this? I mean, a controller is meant to fit in your hand. This is meant to sit on the floor.
So yeah, I was thinking that
Not
too.
you
really.
do?
No,
Lay
it's
on the
meant
floor?
to sit up at, like, It's meant to
Yeah,
be an arcade.
it's meant to be on a
meant to
table.
sit on like a counter. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna play it like instead of your PC at your desk?
That,
Yeah,
that's
just
the
bring
thing.
your table over. You know,
Get rid of your keyboard.
Okay, or you're gonna put it on your kitchen table where your TV sits?
Yeah, exactly. No, I was thinking this too. Because you also have to have the cord going to the TV. Like,
Right. It's like you could have. I mean, Nintendo came out with a Switch at almost the exact same price, and you can play that in your hands in many more games. This is something that it's just who came up with this shit.
so the alternative, I guess, was to play it on the lap, but that looks awful because if you're alone, you have to like that. It just won't work. You have to have like a weird pillow next to you, and if you're with someone, you'll be sitting weirdly close to them. And I imagine again that cutout is gonna suck.
And part of the like the appeal of this, right? They got the clicky buttons, and it's probably like a clicky joystick, like the arcade machine was. But what this is not, and what none of these things that try to be arcade machines, like this concept has been tried. It doesn't fucking work. These things have been around forever. But anyway, the whole arcade machine thing, like the button mashing aspect of it, is that you have a big cabinet that you can hammer on. Like, you could really get into it and mash the buttons.
It's like a pinball table.
Right. You're not going to do that on a tray table or, like, your coffee table.
and
or
definitely
your
not on
couch,
something you own.
Or,
Yeah,
well,
the first time you try and push the joystick while you're holding it on your lap, it's just gonna go flying. There's
Right.
nothing there to support the controller.
and all of the games are like the button mashing games because those are the classic Capcom games. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
So my like two biggest critiques of this. So right off the bat, I just want to. So they said the parts that are in this fight stick, or not fight stick, this stick, they are good. Like it's supposed to be a good stick and good buttons. And if you were to buy an actual like fight stick that you'd use in like Street Fighter competitively, that runs over $100 easy. So the idea of so this is the thing. If you could separate these into two different fight sticks, and at least and it worked on other games, at least you'd have two fight sticks that works on other games. And it does have a USB port, so maybe you'll at least be able to use it. It'll just be very awkward because it's two. That's like honestly my biggest critique, because there's only 16 games. You're not going to play those forever. It would be nice if this could extend past that. But it doesn't look like it will. And if it does, it'll be awkward.
I think I mean, if this is at all successful, I think they probably plan to add to the catalog of games. The way it's worded in the video says something about like, comes preloaded, which I see what literally they're saying, but for whatever reason that seems to imply to me that they might add more in the future. My other thing there, Chris, is that like this is launching at $250. That's way too expensive to be the kind of novelty buy that people were doing with the NES Classic and even the PlayStation Classic, to the extent that people bought that. This is like over 2 times as expensive as those things.
Well, that's why I was saying
and for basically an older console that way fewer people have, I think, significant nostalgia for.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, at least if you made it detachable and working with other game, like, Street Fighter, like the newer Street Fighters or something, at least you'd have an audience of people who buy fight sticks anyway, and they're like, oh, I was gonna spend $200 anyway, I might as well get this. I like Capcom, I guess.
It has Wi-Fi in it, so like they could update it.
Yeah, there are going to be leaderboards, and they could update it. And for $250, they should.
Yeah, but why would you relaunch with 16 games at $230?
They're gonna sell them. They're not gonna give them away for free. It's gonna be like $5 a game. It's gonna happen.
They probably will.
Good point.
It's so strange. I don't understand why they did this.
Well, I mean, there is. I would disagree with what Jay said. I think there is a significant nostalgia market for these old, because it's like the same generation of people that were like playing the NES when that was new. The only other place that you could get video games was an arcade, and
right,
they were widespread, and that was it was just like a thing. Like there is a nostalgia market for this, but they're not tapping into it the right way. Like it's like if you built a car that was just like an engine and a transmission and the wheels and no frame. Like I have a problem with the mechanical thing. Like that it's not, because if you're trying to tap into that nostalgia, which right, they got the clicky buttons and the joysticks, which I'm sure are absolutely beautiful to use. I'm sure it's just like an arcade machine because it's the same stuff, but you're not getting the full thing. Like with an NES Classic or whatever, you can plug it into your TV and more or less it's the same thing. But with this, there's a physical aspect. It's like pinball video games. There's something missing to it, and at $250, they can't really afford to have something missing.
Yeah, and the NES Classic looks like an NES. I mean, yes, there was no Capcom console, but no one's going to relate to a logo. I mean, maybe if it was like a small arcade cabinet, I don't know. It's just so not the right way to tap into the nostalgia, like you said, Brian. There's nothing about it that says this is a good impulse buy or a good nostalgia buy.
And I think the nostalgia for Capcom as a brand is way less than the nostalgia for the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo. I mean, back then it was certainly huge, and the titles are recognizable, but like I don't think people fetishize it in quite the same way.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it comes from the titles being so recognizable. Like they could potentially sell a lot of games just based on that. That you don't need to recognize the name Capcom to know like Street Fighter. But
right.
Do you guys remember?
But Street Fighter isn't that big of a brand anymore. Like, it's still a big
It
brand,
used to be. It used to be.
but it used to be. But like Nintendo is the, I think the brand with them. I think that's one of the reasons why the NES Classic worked so well, is because it's a brand that I think is considerably built on nostalgia.
Yeah, but they've kind of evolved with that. Like I think they have an understanding of that. This is
Right.
a blatant attempt to cash it.
No, agreed.
Do you guys?
The logo kind of throws it away.
The logo though. That's the thing. It doesn't even have any cool art or anything. Do you guys remember this last Christmas 2018? There were at Walmart. They had arcade 1-up machines. You guys might
Are
not.
those the ones that Soldier Boy was making, or...
No. And thank God we didn't do a video on that.
The Soldier Box.
No. So basically, this is just for I'm just trying to wrap my head around the value price kind of comparison. I remember seeing these at Walmart. It was a big push over the holiday season, thinking like this is way too big, way too expensive. But regardless, I'm looking at them right now. It's a mini arcade cabinet. It's like a 2/3 scale arcade cabinet, and it has like all the original art. It's all nice and licensed. It looks very good. And it's like 2/3 scale, but it has the screen. It has all those nice buttons. And like right now, I'm looking at one that Walmart's selling. It has 12 games. And again, this is with the screen, with the cabinet, with the buttons and everything. That's $300. It just...
Why wouldn't you buy that over this?
That's what I'm saying, and I'm looking at a Street Fighter one, which is again, it's this one's just Street Fighter, but it has 2 sticks and all the buttons. I'm sure they're not as good as the Capcom one, but it has like nice art on it and everything. That's $250.
Yeah, that's...
And I thought at the time, I thought those looked like shit. Yeah, exactly. People see the art on the cat, they're like, oh, and it looks nice to display in your place, maybe, assuming you have like
right, this is going to get thrown in a closet.
Yeah, but the people that relate to this are the people that own homes or apartments and maybe have like a man cave or a basement they can put it in.
AKA people who were alive, who were teenagers in the 80s. And we're playing arcade cabinets. That's what, like, the people who are nostalgic for Street Fighter are like pretty old.
They're like 40, yeah.
Yeah, but that
40
doesn't
or
mean
50,
that
my guy.
That doesn't mean that they don't enjoy it.
Absolutely, and like more power to them. But my point is just
why,
that, like,
why wouldn't you have the mini cabinet?
Yeah, exactly. Like you, if you're, and not everyone is, but like you're a little more likely to be like established, to have a place, to have somewhere you might want to show off a cabinet like this. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, it was just thought, but I mean, I
think that's a great point, Chris.
Yeah, but like you just have to put some bricks or something in the bottom of it to make sure it's heavy enough. But like that's good enough. No, seriously though, like if you weight it down a little bit, even something like that, it'll be reasonably close to playing an arcade cabinet because, hey, it's a little arcade cabinet, not a plexiglass Capcom logo with a joystick or 2.
You know what a nostalgia console does not need? Really expensive fight sticks.
And
that's a...
And a company logo.
And a company logo.
Good point, Jake.
Yeah, I mean that's
something you're gonna play 10 times.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if that's what's driving up the price, like it's not like they had expensive fight sticks back in the arcade cabinets. So
back to back with the great points.
Makes you think.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean I think I've said all I want to say. I don't know if you guys have anything else. It seems like none of us are planning on buying this in October.
Hell no, dude.
Okay.
Not a chance.
Here's all I want to say. The problem with all of this shit that you just plug into your TV, like, and the NES Classic and that has kind of gotten out of this with the ability to update and things like that. It's the same exact problem with those like 1999 controller you plug into your TV with 20 games on it. It's not a console, and people, it's like a sub console, and you're never gonna get that out of someone's mind when they're making the buying decision. So unless you're really good at this shit, and this is going out to all you game manufacturers out there that are watching our channel, you're really good at this shit, you can pull it off. Otherwise, stay the fuck out. It's not a good idea. Mic drop.
Poignant.
Mic
Well,
drop.
you got to pick the mic back up because you got to wrap
Oh,
up the
okay.
video.
Oh, wrap up the video. Well, I just like to go out on a limb here and say that we do have a veritable shit ton of said Steam codes that, we're promising to all of our subscribers. So there is no shortage of Steam codes.
Well,
If you subscribe to this channel. No?
we're almost out, but yeah, we
There's
have a few
no,
more. We have a few more.
There's no shortage. There's no shortage. Well, anyway, if you're planning on buying this giant Capcom logo and sticking it on your shelf so everybody knows that Capcom, I guess, go ahead and let us know on down in the comments. And I already mentioned the Steam codes. There's plenty of them, so keep those subs coming, because if you watch this far in the video, you enjoyed it, and we have a ton more content like this here on the Cohesive Friendship Unit channel. So go ahead and throw us a sub there. You won't be disappointed. And smoke them if you get them, guys. That's all for me tonight, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Brian. We'll catch you guys next time.